now proudly presented on SNME. That's Sunday night's main event, Patreon and free feed.
Yo, we just people from the north side. Want some Timmy's at the shore fine. Winter ready on the four ties. Heavy traffic during 4-5. Gotta hustle on your own time. Color people every port side. We just people from the north side. Want some Timmy's at the shore fine.
Hey guys, what's going on? It's your host, your boy George Mackay here at Battle Arts Beaverton. It's cold. It's not snowy, but it's cold. And I'm here with a returning guest, 3 years. A lot's happened since the last time we spoke. We spoke just after COVID. But ladies and gentlemen, first off, the Canadian pop star, the one and only, Jesse Bieber. How are you, buddy?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm good. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having me. This is exciting.
It is. So impromptu stuff is the best.
Oh, I'm such a fan.
Not rehearsrsed. We went off the cuff the last time, and it turned out to be a great conversation. Mm-hmm. We talked about crossing the border, going for junk food cereals.
How do you remember all this?
Because that's what I do. I'm a journalist at heart.
Oh, okay.
I'm not a fancy journalist, but right. I'm a journalist at heart.
I mean, you put a blazer on, you probably look pretty fancy.
I couldn't do blazers, man. I couldn't do it. I'm more of the Uncle Jesse kind of like.
Oh, the cool guy.
Yeah, like I'm like the dress pants with the sneakers, and then throw a blazer on over just a t-shirt.
You'd be like our Fonzie kind of guy.
Yeah, like hey,
kick some jukeboxes, hey.
All right, so let's go back and let's talk about like the last time we spoke was during we just got out of COVID.
Literally, yeah.
I had gone to my first CWF show, it was fantastic.
Thank you.
And now you've kind of, which is exciting for you, you've branched out beyond CWF. Mm-hmm. You did Destiny a few times, which is fantastic. And Destiny is kind of that jumping point in Ontario. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's that jumping point in Ontario where, because Destiny does have those ties to TNA now, Impact formerly, but TNA now, that if you are on the Destiny card, it's kind of like, almost like an NXT, if you really think about it. It's like possibility of getting an opportunity with TNA, not saying you're going to get signed, but an opportunity to do extra work, which you have done over there, and all these other stuff. So talk to me about, I guess, Destiny and branching out beyond CWF and kind of hitting all over Ontario, because we're talking Niagara Falls, now you're up here in Beaverton, you've done the Mississauga area, you've been to Hamilton, you are branching out a lot more. The Jesse Bieber brand in Ontario is growing.
It's trying to grow, which is great. It's like we're planting little seeds now. You know what it is? I thank you, George. Because I feel like, we got to do this nice little interview when we came back. Because I wasn't really doing much. You're right. I kind of stayed within my home base. And
you were playing it safe like most people. And there's nothing wrong with that, considering what the world was going through.
Well, that, and also considering the fact that we do so many tours. So I'm constantly wrestling all year long. So to me, it was like I should be going to these shows to kind of either get that little bit of a push, and also just to go and meet new people, get a new understanding of what it's like to wrestle different people, learning other ways of everybody else, because everyone learns something different, right? So we teach something, someone else, so say Battle Arts might teach something different, so everyone's got their own little version, so it's kind of cool to branch out, do these different things, and learn new styles and meet new people, which is fantastic.
So you actually credit me with that, because our interview was what you think pushed you to go out there and kind of put a face out to the rest of the Ontario indie scene?
I would say you're definitely a nice little fuel. I would definitely give you a little bit of that. So that's for you guys on the Straight Talks here. So I would say that you would help me ignite it. So it's like basically making me understand that I need to be doing something else because of the guys that we would talk about. Mm-hmm. And even when I do see you at the shows, it's like getting the chance to chat a little bit more, and then hearing your thoughts on other people. And then it's like, some people you talk about, I don't really know because I don't branch out enough. Mm-hmm. So it was one of those things that inspired me to go out, do a little bit more, meet some more people, and then get that aspect of what it's like out there.
Absolutely. And you know what? You've done that very fluently in the last couple of years, and I feel like Jesse Bieber now is more well-known than he was during COVID and even a little bit post-COVID. I feel like you branched out nicely. So, I mean, we talked about feuds. We talked about you and Coney Diener having that fight forever feel. Talked about you and Tyler Hill having that fight forever feel. And Tyler Hill has gone out and branched out himself, and he's done some great work. What is your thought process on when, like, let's talk about Tyler Hill for a second, a wrestler who's so adversed in the deathmatch style.
Yeah.
He's carried the deathmatch, and he's one of those guys who's like, you know what, I'm tired of deathmatch wrestlers getting a bad rap. Like, we're guys who can't wrestle. He is classically trained. He does know wrestling.
Yep.
And he decided to hang it up, the deathmatch side of stuff, and now he's just doing wrestling. Mm-hmm. What is your thought process on somebody, Tyler Hill's, we're talking 10 plus years in the game, almost maybe 15, closer to 15, and he's doing that, and now he switches gears. What's that like for you, seeing somebody that you've had those style of matches with changing gears later on in their career?
I'm not gonna lie, I don't really fully understand your question, sir. So
Really?
Yeah. So you want to know my thoughts on
I want to know your thoughts on somebody changing up or evolving in their career.
switching it up?
Switching it up, leaving the deathmatch side of stuff behind and going just to classical wrestling to show what he can do in the classic style.
You know what? I think it's actually kind of cool because you're showing there's versatility in you, right? So, because when I knew Tyler was actually just a wrestler. So Tyler would go on the tours with us. He would do his shows. He would do everything that way. And then almost it's like he evolved into the deathmatch stuff.
See, I don't know Tyler Hill before the deathmatch stuff.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I think that's why maybe I was a little confused. Because to me, I've always known Tyler as that wrestler. So when he left from us, CWF, he ventured into the Death Proof stuff. So now it was like doing all the deathmatch stuff. He was killing it. And hey, don't get me wrong, like you're learning a whole new style, which to me, I'm gonna give props to everybody because it's not easy. Like I'm not gonna do it, so I don't want to put my.
You don't want to fuck up the moneymaker.
That's right. I got a face to try and worry about, right?
Yeah, that's true.
For
He moisturizes and he's got a whole cleansing routine. Maybe we'll share it later. Yeah, we'll share it later if we have time in the interview. But yeah, so going from classical to deathmatch, and now he's back to classical again to kind of show people what they might have forgotten about him.
It's like you do an evolution to switch back to your old ways. It's almost like I do believe that a lot of people in the deathmatch wrestling world or the hardcore stuff do get a bad rep because unfortunately it's one of those things that people think are easy to do.
It's very stigma.
Yeah, it's very stigma. So it's a perfect word for it because I feel like it's one of those things that you look at and you're like, they chose deathmatch because they can't wrestle or work. But you have guys like Tyler, like you said yourself, who can actually go out there and show they can work, they can wrestle. And even actually, one guy that I think even had that stigma on him for a long time was Ricky Shane Page.
Yeah, very much so.
Very much so, right? So he was a guy that could do this stuff, but this guy could work. So he was fantastic to actually watch in a wrestling match as opposed to just his deathmatch stuff. So we're talking evolution. That's like... I almost feel like you learn another part of wrestling. Like there's always so many different aspects of wrestling. It's not just the wrestling stuff. It's like you have your comedy, you have your wrestling, you have your deathmatch stuff or your hardcore stuff, and then it just ventures on. There's so many opportunities and avenues that you can do in wrestling.
I like that. I think that's perfect opportunity and avenues in wrestling. Well, let's talk about an avenue that I actually learned about you today. You were sitting there strumming on the guitar that was beautifully built, and you had mentioned that you actually wanted to be a musician. And you fell into wrestling and then realized, you know what, I can do both, and thus the pop star gimmick was born.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I have to dig deeper into that. You wanted to be a musician, and you fell into wrestling, obviously with the lineage of your father and the heritage of CWF and all that kind of stuff. But why go full force into wrestling and kind of put music to the back burner and then incorporate music? Why not go full force into music and then maybe use wrestling as a little bit of a hobby?
That's a great question.
Right?
You're full of these today.
Yeah,
eh?
why not flip it is what I'm saying. Exactly.
Honestly, it's just, I think the honest answer to this is just, I feel like I grew in wrestling. So wrestling's kind of like, music has always been a part of my blood. Like my family's really music oriented. And I feel like wrestling was kind of the thing that I spent a lot of time with my dad. And my dad, since I was 8 years old, has always been a professional wrestler. He lives and breathes wrestling. Like his full-time job is wrestling. So for us, it's like I had wrestling always either in my head or in my ear or down my throat. So it was like as much as I want to play guitar and sing and stuff, it's like the day would come in and it's like, you have your random work day that you got to do. So it's like your 9 to 5. Well, my 9 to 5 became wrestling. So it was like to go out and do something or try to focus all my time into music. It was like, well, wrestling's kind of there and I need to make sure that I'm staying on top of that. So to know that I could take the music side of things and bring it into another world that I'm very familiar with now and mix them together was two passions right into one. So it's, I guess that transition of focusing more just on music didn't really cross my mind. It was more of just music is a thing. I can incorporate it with another love of mine and just run with it. And so far, wrestling's kind of been the thing for me.
Absolutely. And, I get to call another Jesse Bieber match tonight, which I'm excited about. And it's kind of a full circle moment if you think about it. 3 years ago, I think even in that interview, I talked about, even off camera, I said, the goal for me would be to get into the commentary side of stuff and to do that. And now I'm doing it.
Now you are, yeah.
4 promotions. It's been pretty cool. And I even remember you saying, I do want to branch out more. And you're doing it.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, I mentioned Destiny. I believe you've also taken some bookings in Hamilton. Correct me if I'm wrong. Were you not Greektown Greektown as well? Once or twice?
Never done Greektown.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I have a good relationship with Decker, so I wouldn't say there's any type of cross like where there's no chance of it. I just think the avenues in the past just haven't met.
They haven't linked up yet, but there's an opportunity there for and where else can people see the Canadian pop star?
Where you can see me right now would be most of my major places that I go to would be like Neo Wrestling in Niagara Falls, CWF of course in St. Catharines. You can see me at PWO in Hamilton. Destiny again, because once again I'm their new era champion.
He is the face. He's one of the faces, one of the pillars of the company.
It's a pillar, just like yourself being the commentator there.
Yeah, I've officially announced recently that I am the ongoing color commentator for Destiny Wrestling, and that's an honor because I remember being in the stands enjoying what Destiny Wrestling was bringing, and now being able to call some of these future stars, future legends in the business. It's exciting for me, and I address everyone with the same amount of respect because I have a respect for everything that you guys do, and everything that you do is challenging.
Yeah,
it is challenging. It's not something that you cannot do. And it's actually funny. I have an interview that's going to be dropping actually a month before this one. It's actually going to be dropping this week. We're going to be dropping this one sometimes in February.
Nice.
But Joey Janela, I sat down with Joey Janela, and that's coming out.
Oh, nice.
And I actually asked him about some of the crazy shit that he's done. And he even said to me, like when Mick Foley says some of the shit you've done is crazy, that's something.
Yeah.
And, he feels like he's like almost like an 80-year-old man because of all the crazy shit that he's done.
I can imagine.
So I have to impose that question to you because I mean you don't do crazy shit. You are the typical pro wrestler.
Yep.
But you have taken those risks. I mean, pro wrestling in itself is a risk. Has there ever been any setbacks in your career? Like, I want to talk about stuff we never talked about the first time we conversated. Any setbacks in your career? Any injuries where you were kind of tentative or almost timid to get back into that squared circle because you're putting your body on the line?
Oh, honestly, big one would have been I did a winter wrestling tour. I believe this was my first tour ever as a wrestler, so this would have been actually back in 2011.
Wow, we're aging ourselves. 2011. What was I doing in 2011? I was in my 30s. I had welcomed my first daughter, and we were working on our the mini host was 2 years old in 2011.
Wow.
That's how old I feel.
Woo! I mean, you look great.
Thank you. I also have a routine. I have a routine as well.
It's the exfoliating, the
No,
moisturizing.
not really. It's whatever the wife buys for me, I put on my face. So kudos to Mrs. Host because she is the best. She keeps me looking young and spry. And also, when you've got a woman as stunning as she is on your arm,
Yep.
you've got to keep up with her. My physique is not so much kept up with her because she keeps me happily fed.
Right.
And I don't care that I'm a big boy because she likes her men. She likes her men a little bit on the bigger side. So I'm lucky in that avenue. She likes to have somebody to snuggle with. But when you have a woman who's as stunning as she is, you've got to do everything you can to try to keep whatever attracted her to you in that shape. So.
And you think, what would you say that thing was? Like
I would say it was my my deep, almost bellowing voice. It's very calming and soothing.
The bellowing.
The bellowing, yeah. And I would also say my sense of humor. But I would say my wife just, I don't know, she's the moneymaker, man. She saw that this was something that she could wake up beside herself for the rest of her life.
You know what I think she saw was the fact that she could like go to bed and you would just read her a book and then she would be able to fall asleep.
I could narrate a lot of lives like Morgan Freeman. I feel like I could.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like I could.
You know that reputation.
Like if we ever did a documentary here in Ontario, like OVW wrestlers, why not come do like CWF? I know you did a little documentary.
Yeah.
But why don't Netflix come over here and talk about the Ontario indie scene? Right. And I could be the narrator. I could be like Jesse Bieber, Canadian pop star turned professional wrestler. He's never had an easy journey in professional wrestling, but now he's branching out more, getting his face out there, taking more liabilities. And then it would cut to a shot of you with a faded out ring in the background being like, you know what, pro wrestling is everything to me. And then I would be, as you're doing the training montage, I would be like, Bieber works tirelessly. This is not a 9 to 5 for Bieber. This is his life.
You just wrote a half an hour segment, right?
One episode right there.
That's one complete episode just on me.
Netflix, hit me up. I know what I'm doing.
Give him a call.
Give me a call. It's very easy. You can find me.
His number will be located on the bottom of the screen.
No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to put my number on YouTube. Are you insane? Slide into my DMs. I'll get at you, Netflix.
There we go. Now we're thinking.
Absolutely. We lost our train of thought completely. But, so your winter tour and the injury.
Yes, so 2011 would have been the first one. I went on the road actually with my brother, who at the time I was tagging with as Dance Mix Revolution. So we wore these Jabberwocky masks, and we would be dancers and musicians in the ring. So let's fast forward a little bit here within the tour. We get into a tag match, and I remember talking to my brother, and this is to be completely honest with everybody here, I was not trained enough to be in a damn wrestling ring to do half this stuff. To me, I was your clothesline, back elbow, body slam guy. That's it. That's all I knew how to do. And I threw this little dance into a elbow drop, which I called the hip hop drop. So,
I like that.
Right? Not bad, right?
I prefer the mic check myself personally. I do think that is a solid maneuver.
Hashtag evolution.
Yeah, evolution, right? Stick with the mic check. I'm glad you got rid of the hip hop elbow drop.
I still do it, actually.
But you don't really call it the hip hop elbow drop, do you?
No, it's like a hip hop shuffle drop.
It's like a hip hop shuffle drop.
Shuffle drop.
Chicka, chicka, chicka.
So back on track. So
Yes.
I ended up getting this match. I remember talking to my brother in the back. So the one guy wanted to do a double clothesline. Believe it or not, for some reason in my head, I thought it was a lot harder than it ended up being. So I was asking my brother how to do it. Seems crazy to even have this conversation about a clothesline. It's a bump. You just go with it and you're done, right? So with this, it was like we got talking and it was like, how do I take this? And my brother told me at the time, he was like, when you hook it, you're going to spin around him. I was like, oh, that seems weird. I've never seen people just spin around in a clothesline thing. It seems crazy to me. He's like, well, all you got to do is jump with it and you'll be fine. I've never jumped into a clothesline in my life, by the way, even to this day. So now looking back, this was terrible advice. I should not have listened to my brother. This is probably why he doesn't wrestle anymore. So I feel like
Probably. Bro, I feel like this is definitely truthful.
100%. So anyway, he's my brother. I'm going to listen to him. He seems to be the wrestler here, so let's see what he's got. So I remember getting in the ring. We go to do the thing. We call it. As soon as we hit this double clothesline, I jump into it. Buddy's like, what the hell are you doing, man? And I just head drilled into the mat, and I remember just opening my eyes and being in the back locker room. Scariest thing I've ever been through in my life, because the worst part was we filmed it. So I got to watch the rest of the stuff happen that I had no recollection of. And I still, to this day, don't have any recollection of it.
Wow.
But watching it back was one of those things where it was like, it scared me because it's like I didn't know what was going on. It was like my head hit, and it was going into the hot tag, which thank God, because I was the one taking the heat. So when I did the tag, my brother came in and did everything, but you just see me lifeless laying on this mat, and for some, I don't know how I knew to tag out, but I tagged out, he did the whole thing, and for some reason I had to come in and do a finishing thing, which somehow I rolled my butt in there to do it. Didn't work very well. It looked terrible, by the way. It looked absolutely god-awful, but it got to the point where we did it. And then for some reason, my brother picked me up and put me in the corner to celebrate. This is why, if someone's hurt, please, please, for the love of God, check on them. Because at this moment, I almost fell over, and it was like, I'm not all there. It's like, you have no idea what's going on. And then all of a sudden, he walked. I think at that moment, he realized I wasn't all there because I almost fell off a corner. And then he walked me out. And that's where I woke up in the back. So I think at that moment, I was a little hesitant about getting back into the squared circle for a little bit. But the worst part is I had to wrestle the next day. We're on a winter wrestling tour.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, I'm stuck doing that. And then I kind of didn't have a choice. But I was very hesitant for that whole night. I was like, I don't know if I want to do this. I was very cautious. I didn't throw one single clothesline after that. We changed that up. And that was different.
Well, you know what? I mean, experiences like that, sometimes, even though they're scary, they make you better.
100%.
And you got over that, and now you've been, like you said, you've been building and growing and doing all the stuff you want. So let's actually talk about you being the new era champion at Destiny.
Yeah, sure.
I was able to call that match. I am Gabriel Flair's unofficial best friend, so it was hard for me to see him lose that title. But if he's going to lose to anybody, it might as well be to you.
Well, thank you, sir.
And your tag team partner.
Of course.
The beer bottle.
The beer bottle. Yeah, we're not supposed to talk about that.
Well, it was there.
Well, it happened to be there.
It's on film.
Opportunity, buddy.
Opportunity of being on film, and you hit the man in the head with a beer bottle.
Ref didn't see it.
Ref didn't see it, but we saw it. Commentary saw it.
You guys saw it, but I'm still a champion.
You are still a champion. Yeah. No, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So you get it. We're all there.
We're all there. Yeah. But anyways, so what's it like when, like I said, a company like Destiny, who has that lineage in Ontario of being one of the premier upper echelon promotions, says to you, okay, tonight's your night, man. You're the guy. And you have that responsibility of now holding one of the 3 titles in the company. There are only 3.
Yeah.
There's the New Era, there is the tag titles, and then there is the heavyweight championship.
Which they actually opened the door to the women's coming.
They did.
Yeah.
They've announced that, but that's still, that belt is not, we don't have an inaugural champion yet. the way I look at belts and titles and stuff like that, it's not, even though it's there and it's tangible, it's not tangible till I see it in somebody's hand.
Of course.
So the Women's Championship is going to be a great tournament that we're going to have. They're going to crown their inaugural Women's Champ, and that'll be amazing, and I'm going to be able to call that. I'm so excited for that.
Yeah.
But right now, currently, you are one of the pillars because you are one of the faces holding one of the titles. I would look at the New Era Championship as the Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah.
If you got that title, now it's okay. We're going to put you in situations, want to see how you handle the pressure, want to see how you can move up to be, and you're no stranger to being a heavyweight champion. You've been a heavyweight champion multiple times at CWF. So you're no slouch to this. You know big match feels, big match moments. But you're going to have your first title defense.
I am, yeah.
What's going through your head? First title defense at Destiny, first being the face now of the New Era division. I mean, pressure?
There's definitely pressure, especially when you put it like that, being a pillar and everything, because you take out one pillar, that means the roof is falling down.
Absolutely.
So I feel like pressure is on for sure, but the one thing that it would be going through my head is I'm going to do what I got to do to hold on to this belt, because I'm not letting it go anytime soon.
Well, you did that to win it. You did whatever you had to do.
That's right, and sometimes
it's on film.
It's on film, as you would have heard here today from George, actually.
Yeah. Well, my best friend was hurt. I mean, he could have had a concussion. He could have been seriously injured. Glass in his eye, and he's got a moneymaker to worry about too, Jesse.
I mean, he still looks great.
Does.
He does look great.
We have a standing, him and I, we have a standing steak dinner night every Thursday. He has yet to show up.
You know what's funny is after I watched the match back, I heard that joke. So here's to recycling, eh?
Well, but I want to put it out there to the world that we do. We do. I say, Thursday, you gonna steak dinner on this Thursday? Never get a response.
How come you just don't bring him a container of steak and then maybe that'll sell him? It's like bait on a fishing rod.
No. Listen, he won't even admit to our friendship. Like, I had him on the show and I asked him, I'm like, let the people know. And all he said was, okay. So and I said this to him. I said, you didn't deny it, but he didn't accept it either.
I feel like,
I feel like I'm putting more into this friendship.
I think it's almost feeling like there's some sort of friendship that you think you have. I don't know if it's fully there.
So what you're saying is it's all me.
It's definitely your fault, I'm thinking at this point. I would cut ties. Maybe don't cut ties. I don't know. I don't know. He's all right, eh?
No, he is my best friend. He's my best friend in pro wrestling.
Keep trying. Invite him to dinner.
No, honestly, I love the relationships that I built with all of you guys. I have so many friends in pro wrestling, and I'm living the dream, getting able to have these conversations and talk to you and share stuff. I mean, it's only been 22 minutes, but it feels like we've been shooting the shit for like an hour.
Technically, we have, because I think it led into this.
Yeah, it did. It did lead into this. Because I was like, I haven't had you on the show in forever. I'm like, fuck it, let's just do an impromptu. Because I always have my equipment ready, because you never know. Content is something that I pride myself on. Since COVID, I made a promise. I made a post. I said every week I'm going to release an interview, a conversation, something. And I don't care if I have everybody back on 50,000 times, because you know what? It's 50,000 conversations. This is now part 2 of an extension of our first conversation.
Which I like, because you're asking different questions, which is fantastic. And the fact that you remember what you asked before, it made me feel like you went back, listened to it real fast, and then we had this impromptu.
Actually, you know what? I haven't watched that interview since I edited it and put it out there. Really? But I try to remember at least one I have so many memories of every conversation, of like a fond question or a fond answer. But what I remember most about that conversation is how easily it flowed. Yes. And I will say that I felt like for two guys who had just met each other, both nervous. Myself, I had only just been in the interview game for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And then here I am. I'm like, I'm interviewing Jesse Bieber. This guy's been feuding with Cody Deaner. This guy's been feuding with this guy's got a name out here. This is his territory, and I'm kind of coming in as a new guy under the radar. But you know what? Every time I get an opportunity, or every time I can have an extension of these conversations or a new conversation, this is what's the best. Calling matches is a dream, and it's a dream I'll never take for granted. I appreciate it. I'm humbled by it. But being able to have these conversations, that's the exciting part. And they are conversations. As much as they do feel like interviews, a lot of these questions are off the top of my head. These are not rehearsed. I don't sit there. I do my research. I know the points I want to hit.
Yeah.
But the great thing I can say about myself is, and I think it's another reason why my wife loves me, is I can steer a conversation where I need it to go.
That was like... This is like, let's just throw in something there real fast for Mrs. Host here.
Mrs. Host, absolutely.
Yeah. This is real love, by the way. You should hold on to this man if you're watching. Does she watch your stuff?
She does watch my stuff. She shares it. She supports. She's actually the one. There's been so many times I've had doubts. And you know what? I'm going to get open and honest with you now.
No, we're getting there.
We're getting open and honest. I had a really bad bout of depression 2 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
And I was at that kind of crossroads in my life. And I actually quote Jay-Z. There was a crossroads of, like, I didn't go left, I didn't go right, I went straight. I made my own road. And I battled back from depression because of my wife and my children, who I pride myself on, and they gave me the strength to be here today, because I didn't know if I was going to be here today, because it was that serious. It was that. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little bit emotional, but it was that serious. But she always pushes me to be the best, and even when I think it's not going right, she gives me that little. So as much as you say I was the spark that ignited you, she's that person who keeps putting coal on the fire for me. She keeps me in the place, and even when I think, I reached a huge milestone at the tail end of last year. I'm over 800 subscribers on YouTube.
Wow, congratulations.
Which most people may be like, well, it doesn't seem like a big milestone, but to somebody who started, I haven't bought a single follower, someone who's just been putting content out there, helping this scene grow, putting faces out here so people can see the scene that we have here, a scene that I didn't want to share, I'll be honest with you. I wanted to keep it to myself, did not want to share it. But it's been a blessing, and be able to have conversations, call you guys. Like Squares and I, we talk a lot of shit, but him and I, we are friends.
Yeah.
We're not best friends, but we're friends.
Yeah.
In my mind, we're best friends. But I can consider you a friend. I can consider everybody a friend. And that's what great. This is the family atmosphere coming in, everybody shaking hands, everybody hugging. That's what it's all about.
Yep.
And I feel like if it wasn't for her, I'd be missing out on not only my life with her, my life with my kids, and this wonderful, fascinating world.
First of all, I gotta say, to open up, it's not easy, and it is really hard to do that. So the fact that you were able to open up, and not even in front of me, but with this as well.
My journey is an open book. I go to therapy consistently. I keep getting the help, and I'm a big advocate of mental health, because I was the type of person to be like, I don't need to talk to someone. I'm okay. I can fight through this. As human beings, we're strong. But you know what? It's okay not to be okay.
100%. 100%, because we all, honestly, I feel like for everyone out there that does go through something, because I've been through it too, especially during COVID. COVID was a terrible time for people.
Fucked everybody up.
Everybody. So I really believe that, I'm an advocate on people who don't feel good about themselves, or if they're any type of depression, please reach out. Mailboxes are always empty and they're ready to go. Just open.
Slide into my DMs. If I can't help you, I'll at least try to steer you in the right direction. I'm sure you would do the same.
100%. If we can refer you to somewhere that you need to be, or even just an ear to listen, because I know sometimes that's all it takes, is just you want to let this stuff off, right? You want to let it out, so that way it's not sitting on your shoulders anymore, and you can actually have that freedom to move forward.
And that's what it was. It was a therapeutic journey of growing. I say this, we knew each other 3 years ago.
Yep.
But if you'd known George 5 years ago, now 6 years ago, if you knew George in 2018, he was angry, he was frustrated, he was short-tempered, he was harsh with his words. He was everything a husband and a father should not be.
Really?
Never physically abused any of them, because I would never do that.
Yeah.
I'm a proud girl dad. But did I say some harsh things? Yes. Was I angry at myself and therefore lashing out at them? Was I short-tempered? Was I everything that, someone who was shutting down is? Yes. And now I could say, through my journey through therapy and the love and support of my wife and my children who never gave up on me, I am 10 times better than I am. Now I smile for the sake of smiling. Nice. I used to, before, I'd be in the car just having cigarettes. I got this fucking wrestling show. I got to get here. Now it's I'm on the way. I was listening to Jelly Roll today.
Yeah,
I'm like, Highway to Hell, Halfway to Hell. Just grooving to Jelly Stone's music. Wild Ones.
Nice.
Well, yeah, great. And I'm sitting there. I'm bellowing it out in the car. I can't sing worth a shit, but I'm doing it. And that is, I feel like, the 6-year journey for me to see who I was in 2018. That's someone I am so glad I've left in the past.
It's actually amazing too, because you're sitting here, we're talking about evolution earlier too. So the fact that it's come full circle to the point where it's you've even showed yourself with the growth and everything else for your evolution, that where you are now today, and even being able to reminisce on how yourself was in the past, or look back and reflect on yourself, is amazing. That's incredible growth, and we gotta give you props, man.
I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you.
Anytime.
But let's get back to you, because evolution is a real thing in this business. Now, Jesse Bieber has evolved. Jesse Bieber has come out. Jesse Bieber as a heel is way more entertaining than, I will say, Jesse Bieber as a face is fun. I love Jesse Bieber as a face, but Jesse Bieber as a heel, it hits different.
It does hit different.
It does hit different. Now, I mean, again, you're versatile. You will play any role that the promotion that you're working for needs you to play.
100%.
But let's pretend the camera's off right now.
Okay.
If Jesse Bieber had a chance to play one side for the rest of his career, which side are you going? Are you a Jedi, or are you going to the dark side? Are you a Sith? Where are you sitting? Where are you sitting, man?
It's it sucks when you put it like that because I'm a Star Wars fan. So
I know you are. That's why I did.
I would have ran with, the whole, I'm a Jedi. In the wrestling world, I'm a Sith.
You love Sith.
I love being a Sith because I think it's the aspect of being able to get those reactions from people and the reactions from the people in the ring. It's so genuine because it's like I can feed off of what they got and give them a reaction that they can use. And I feel like that's kind of where the crowd kind of gets more involved because it's like they want to see it happen. Sometimes as a face, when you get in the ring with people that don't really understand that, you're almost pulling teeth to get certain reactions out of people. So
right, because wrestling, a lot of people don't realize this. Wrestling is emotionally driven.
100%.
Your job is to have a room filled with strangers that you might meet at the merch table, and you're supposed to pull an emotion out of a human being, and people don't realize how challenging it is. I'm sure you've been in crowds where it's flat.
Yep.
You get no reaction, and you're like, there's nothing I can do. I could tell an old lady in the front row to fuck herself, and I still wouldn't get a reaction. But then you go into a room where one person may know you, and they'll stand up and yell, Jesse Bieber sucks, and they're going to get 50, 60, 100 other people right there chanting along with you, and then it's like, yes, because that one dude or one lady hates my guts. Now this whole room hates me, and I love it.
100%. That actually brings it to like a domino effect. For you to work with, say, one person that you know that's going to react, and you know you're struggling with everybody else, it's great to play someone like that because that person starts the domino effect for people around them. So then eventually when you start hearing it over here, now it's like on this side of the fence, maybe there's that one person that stands up and agrees with that side. Now you almost cater to that person, and then they start a domino effect in their area. So now all you're seeing is all these sections are starting to pile up with emotion and reactions, and it's like the more you pull from other sides and different angles, it's like the more reaction you're going to get out of people, which is fantastic.
Right. So I got to ask this, because I think this is a great way to end it before I get we go to the shout-outs and we say our goodbyes. Wrestling fans are, they're bred differently.
Yeah.
And I mean that in the best way possible. Mm-hmm. But also they are very fluid and stagnant in their insults. You suck. You're dumb. I don't like your face. Yeah. Has there ever been a person in the crowd that stood up and gave you like a complete off the kilter insult and you're like, damn, that was good, and also hurt a little bit?
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm going to throw this one as an honorary one just because it's one that I normally get because of the particular gear I wear. Is you're missing your other pant leg. So I couldn't afford another pant leg is what people would say. Mm-hmm. So then my rebuttal half the time is I got it 50% off.
Got it.
That's my honorary one. But
I like that.
The big one that kind of hurt me a little bit as a man is that I had someone stand up once and call me Millimeter Bieber.
Ooh.
Millimeter Bieber made me realize, like, can they see something that I'm not sure is showing? I'm like, I don't know. And so immediately, like, hands are going here. You're like, you're a jerk, but I don't want to acknowledge it because then he thinks we're going to get the whole crowd chanting that, and I don't want to do that.
You don't want that.
Yeah. So
I remember one time at a Destiny show, there was a fantastic wrestler, a little bit on short stature, almost Rey Mysterio size.
Yeah.
And somebody yelled out, you need a booster seat, and the whole crowd was just chanting his entire match, booster seat, booster seat. And that guy's so talented, and I have yet to see him cross the border back into Canada.
Really?
Because that one probably dug a little deep, man.
That hurts a little bit.
It does. It hurts.
Sometimes it's like, man, these people are creative.
They are creative.
Yeah, and especially like for mine, for example, it rhymed. It was clever. It made me more upset that I didn't come up with it.
Could you? Wouldn't it have been great though if you flipped it and be like, doesn't matter about how many millimeters. The fact is, I'm a meter. Something like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like where you flip it and you actually start selling T-shirts or something like that to go with it.
On the meter Bieber.
Call me Millimeter Bieber all you want, but everybody knows I'm a meter.
It's funny. I didn't even think about that. All that went through my head was the Tic Tac comment that people would say with the breath in your breath.
Yeah.
Breath in your breath.
Or the classic like schoolyard one. Suck my dick. I choke on small bones.
I've never heard that one.
You never heard that one?
Never. I did now.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, you talked.
Oh yeah. Listen. Elementary school was a fathom of insults. We used to play Yo Mama before Yo Mama was a TV show.
Of course.
So we would just go in circles and we just trade Yo Mama jokes. And one of my favorite ones, one of my classic ones,
right?
And now we're going into a little extra time, but it's okay. One of my classic mama jokes was, Your mom is so fat she put on a yellow dress and somebody tried to hail her down as a taxi.
No.
Yeah. Or your mom is so stupid, shot a quarterback was a refund.
Oh my. Oh.
Your mom is so dumb she got hit by a parked car.
You can't.
Your mom is so fat she fell down the stairs, broke her leg, and gravy poured out.
Wow. See, I got one for you because
Okay.
I watch Shoresy. So if anybody watches Shoresy,
I actually do enjoy the Shoresy.
oh my god, that guy, by the way, if we could just throw out there a quick little like props to him, just creativity off the charts.
Off the chart, 100%.
Off the charts.
Almost like the early seasons of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Now I feel like they're just trying to piss people off, but the early season, like the Dennis method, when you find out that he's actually a very, very dark human being.
Yep.
And he's like kind of almost like borderline soccer psycho.
Yep.
Yeah, great stuff.
It's all
But
good.
now it's like they're just trying too hard.
It's too. See, I haven't watched too much of the newer stuff, so
Don't. Like go up to season 9 or 10, I think it was, right before, and then cut it.
Okay.
Cut it. Like Lethal Weapon 5, that stuff is great.
Yep.
But yeah, anything beyond that, no, not okay.
It's
not even funny. Now it's just like you guys are. It's like Family Guy. It's like you're recycling the same jokes. It's like Homer Simpson and Bart Simpson choking Bart for 30 years. Like how many times that kid is technically dead? That kid is dead. He's been choked the life out of him numerous times.
Do you remember the Family Guy Simpsons out crossover where they like
Yes.
Simpson or
I was so jazzed for it, and it sucked.
Homer? It wasn't as good. Eh? You didn't like it?
No, it didn't hit home for me. I'm like sitting there going like, these are two iconic cartoon TV families.
Right.
We're finally getting a crossover that everyone's wanted.
Yep.
And it was a huge fucking letdown.
See, I actually didn't mind it, and I feel like
But on a scale of one, like if you had an entire movie theater to yourself, and you could choose anything in the world to watch, would that even be on your top 10 to rewatch again?
no.
So it was okay at the time.
Okay.
But it's not something that you would sit there and be like, you know what, I'm gonna go back and rewatch that now.
Well, if you look at it that way, then yeah, 100%. I wouldn't say it's like up here, but I mean, I did enjoy it, and
Okay.
and where I was going with the choke thing was like, remember when Homer did the choke to Peter, and Peter was like, "Oh my God, that hurt."
That was funny. That was
see,
funny.
right on that one. Probably he's like, "I do it to my son all the time." It's like, you do that to your son?
What the hell is wrong with you?
Yeah, and this was the questions we needed to ask back then.
Yeah.
I
Belt.
mean-
Listen. Belt was a classic one,
Yep,
right?
yeah.
Dad would pull off the belt. You're done.
Yep.
Or my parents were quite inventive. Stiletto heels
Oh, damn.
on the buttocks was
Like a boomerang?
Oh yeah, like it, and they would always get you small of the back. Killer.
Okay.
And then I would say the club, the anti-theft device. I got that whacked over my butt a few times.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Well, Scottish Italian parents, they're
Right, they got the whole little shillelagh. What's that thing that?
the wooden spoon.
Yeah.
Or the rolling pin.
No, I got the wooden spoon.
Oh yeah, everybody got the wooden spoon. That's classic.
I got
That's,
the whole set once. Yeah, it's like you got the big ones. So
You got the salad sport.
dude,
Salad.
I got the spork. I got the spoon. I got the knife. It's like, oh my God, all in the same
Oh
weekend.
my God, I love it.
It was bad. It was bad.
This interview is probably hilarious. I'm going to go back and definitely rewatch this one because we went off kilter so many times, but it was fantastic. But listen, you got to get prepared for your match tonight. I'm looking forward to calling it. Jesse Bieber, the Canadian pop star. Follow him on socials, guy. He's fantastic. And he's one of the guys that you definitely want to catch in Ontario while you can. Because I see a bright future for this young man. And me, I'm always going to be here. That's just it. But anyways, guys, peace, love, and wrestling from me and the pop star with his 50% off pants. And hopefully the new T-shirt that I've helped him build, that I should be able to get a free one if you decide to work.
100%, because this is the second igniting that you've done.
Second igniting. There you go.
Another 3 years when we do the third one.
No, we're going to do it sooner than 3 years. I feel like 18 months might be a good thing.
I think that's a good
Let's
time.
pencil it in for mid-2025.
Let's do it. I'm
do
in
it.
for that.
Perfect. All right, guys. Peace, love, and wrestling. See you next week.
Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and turn on that notification bell so you get notified each time we post a video. Alternatively, you can check us out on all podcast platforms and hosted on Podbean. We are also available on the SNME network. That's the Sunday Nights Main Event Patreon. Please feel free to check us out there as well. And don't forget to follow us on all social media platforms at _Straight Talk on Twitter, at Straight Talk Wrestling on Instagram, Straight Talk Wrestling on Facebook, Straight Talk Wrestling on TikTok, and of course, you can check out all our merch at ProWrestlingTees.com.
I don't need a nigga cosign. Without the liquor, you become a victim. You ain't never got a pole mine. I ain't messing with this generation. Fuck your gen, I ain't got.